You thought you could escape him. You thought that he wouldn't be joining the club. You thought that the deals was off, all the links, everything was off. You thought your club was safe, but no, Harry Maguire is back to terrorise us West Ham fans. Um, Look, I think that when we first got linked with him, I thought it was a very good deal. I thought he'd be a player that would come in and be keen to revitalise his career, take this opportunity to essentially prove the haters wrong, prove that he is the £80 million player that he once was. He is the Premier League defender, one of the most expensive Premier League defenders of all time. He is that player. I thought we would have that kind of attitude, but throughout the whole saga, it seemed, you know, pretty certain that he wasn't actually too fussed about joining West Ham. It was more of a, well, I'm not going to get played at Man United. I'm not too fussed about staying here and fighting for my place. If I have to sit here and sit on the bench and I might get played a couple of times, that's fine by me. I'm not really too fussed about going to West Ham. My main concern at the moment is making sure that I don't get a pay cut, making sure I don't get such a terrible loss of earnings, and I think that is just a terrible attitude to have because, yes, nobody wants to lose money. No one wants to have less money than they were on before, but couple of things, and I know I got a lot of hate for saying that, to be fair, in my video. Number one, these football players earn millions and millions and millions of pounds. They what the money that they earn, the difference that it makes to them is very different to the difference it makes to us. Number two, football is a performative sport. You play well, you get paid more. You play bad, you get paid less. Yes, Harry Maguire is on a big wage at Manchester United, but he's been playing poorly for them for years. And I wouldn't be surprised that if Manchester United renegotiated his contract, he would be on less wages. So yes, it looks like it's a massive, massive pay cut to leave Man United and go to West Ham United, but it's not when you think about it because when he initially signed, his wage was a byproduct of how he was performing for Leicester, for how he's performing for Manchester United, and obviously the price tag that came with that. Now that he's not the most important player at the club, now that they won't get, much of their resale value back. I mean, they're quoting around 30 million for him. They've lost 50 million on him. Now that that's happened, his worth has gone down. His worth has gone down, and therefore he gets paid less than he used to get paid. And to be honest, I mean, that's common sense, isn't it? I think if Manchester United were to sit down with Harry Maguire today, they would definitely look to lessen his wages because he's not a starter for them anymore. He's been removed captaincy. I mean, United will say what they want. I mean, Sky Sports News reported today that Manchester United have told West Ham that Harry Maguire will be staying at the club. And I think that's PR. I don't think that's true at all. I think if Manchester United can offload Maguire and bring someone else in, they would do it in a heartbeat. I absolutely believe that. And X has said on Patreon, which of course you guys need to be subscribing to the Patreon. Link is down below. It's £5. You get so much from it. Not just the transfer news. You get the podcast, which is great fun to listen to, especially if you're like off at work or on the train or just have a spare bit of time. Also, loads of different articles on there by various different people. Mad Dog as well. It's really worth your money. So, have a look in the description below. Subscribe to the Patreon for Dave and X. But X has said on Patreon that we are looking to revisit the Maguire deal and the McTominay deal. Now, I think there's more legs in the Maguire than the McTominay deal. And I'll get to that in a second. But X has said that his source says there could be a lot in this and that Manchester United will be a lot more willing to subsidise wages and facilitate the move than once before. So that really contradicts what Sky Sports are reporting. But the exact quote from X is a top source did not deny that we might revisit the Maguire deal, but said it would be at the end of the window if anything happens. A loan deal most likely, and we'll keep you posted. So Harry Maguire to West Ham could happen. It really could. And I think it's a poor choice from West Ham. I think we've got Mavropanos, who, in my eyes, is a better defender, younger, makes more sense, cheaper as well. Maguire does not have the right attitude in my eyes. I think he should be begging United to let him go to West Ham, take a pay cut, and revitalise his career. This is the same thing that Jesse Lingard did to us, which was he came to us on a loan deal. He played really, really well for us and thought, do you know what? I'm going to take the momentum that I've earned at West Ham, which, yeah, fair enough. He played well and, he did that himself. If he played terribly, we wouldn't revitalise his career for him. But we took a punt on him. We played him. Moyes helped facilitate his redemption. And rather than sit there and say, "John, I'm playing really well at West Ham. They've taken a chance on me. Let me repay their trust. I've been on the bench for United for the last, year or so. They obviously don't trust me. Let me reclaim the trust that they had in me. Let me repay them by signing for them on a permanent and keeping my good football going." No, he said, "You know what? I'm going to Manchester United." And then the season after, he chose Nottingham Forest over us because of more wages. So for me, it's a similar situation. Harry Maguire could revitalise his career under David Moyes. He's a perfect manager for him, especially if he moves to a back five system. It's a perfect opportunity for him. He should be begging to take a pay cut to go there. And for me, if you're not willing to take a pay cut to go there, then you haven't got the right attitude for me. And yes, no one wants to lose money, as I've just said. But when you think about it, Harry Maguire is on a wage that is more than what he should be on at the moment. His initial wage was based on being one of the top earners at the club, being a captain of the club, being a record signing for the club. You know, this all came together to culminate for what his wage should be. And I think if Manchester United sat down today and were able to renegotiate how much they'd be paying Maguire a week, it would be substantially less than he's currently on. So yes, on the face of it, he'll be getting a pay cut at West Ham. But if he stayed at United, he would also get a pay cut because he's on way, way higher wages than he should be in line with his performances. So yes, you can sit there and say he's getting a pay cut, but he should accept the pay cut. He's not played well. He's not been a starter for Manchester United. They've brought in new players. They'd rather play Lindelof over Maguire. He was captain of the club. He's not captain of the club anymore. He's not in the manager's plans. He should be begging to go to a club like West Ham, where they've got... I mean, what other club would touch him? Chelsea, maybe, but they don't even have European football this year. Brighton, they wouldn't touch him. Maybe they would, but I don't think they would touch him. He's not a Brighton player. They don't sign these old players that have terrible resale value. They don't sign him. Arsenal, not a chance. Liverpool, no way. Tottenham, they're not in European leagues, but no. Aston Villa, maybe. I don't think they would, but maybe, especially the Mings incident, which of course happened. City, of course, there's no way. So basically, none of them have shown interest, by the way. Only West Ham have shown interest. Your best shot at playing any form of European football lies with West Ham, and you don't even want to take a chance. You don't want to take a pay cut to facilitate that happening. For me, I think that's a poor attitude, awful attitude. I thought Maguire was going to be coming to the club thinking, this is my chance to show them all I'm wrong. And even if it wasn't a loan deal or that, whatever it was, he should be begging for the chance to this. And maybe that is, very arrogant of me to say, but I think he should be absolutely chomping at the bit to get at West Ham, play under a manager like David Moyes, revitalise his career, show what he can do. I mean, the guy could potentially have been the captain of West Ham, with this pedigree he had being the captain of Manchester United. It could have happened. But that is a deal that I think will be revisited at some point this winter, potentially. It would be kind of strange because Mavropanos was brought in to deal with the fact that the Maguire deal fell through. He would cost a lot of money. His wages would be a huge issue. I think his attitude's all wrong. So, but David Moyes respectfully has no shame. If he gets his player, he doesn't care what circumstances it comes in. If he thinks you're going to play well on the field, if he thinks you're going to play good football, he doesn't really care. He has no shame. He doesn't mind making himself look like a bit of an idiot. It's about the football. The McTominay deal, I think, has very little legs. I think the fact that we are revisiting the Maguire deal has then brought back up the McTominay deal, because obviously at one point we might have done a double swoop for them both. So I think the fact that we're going potentially or linked with Maguire again means that inevitably we'll be linked with McTominay, but I don't think there's any legs in it whatsoever. Yes, Moyes is a massive fan of the player, but we've got Alvarez in, we've got Ward-Prowse, we signed Kudus for $2 million cheaper, by the way. Absolutely mental, the inflation that Premier League players are getting at the moment, but it is understandable. I definitely do not see West Ham going back in for Scott McTominay. I think personally, now, of course, X has said that we are potentially revisiting the McTominay deal, but that is all he said on it. I think that we are revisiting the Maguire deal. I do believe that, maybe with a loan move or whatever it is. And I think because of that, McTominay has been mentioned in the conversation because we knew that we were interested in him. I don't think he's going to play much for Man United. They obviously want Amrabat as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if they try and flog him to West Ham. But as far as I'm concerned, we were willing to splash out around... I think we were putting in around 35 million, 30 million towards McTominay. We were really willing to spend around 60 to 70 million on both of those players, which I think was bad business. They've then turned their nose up at that, and now because no one else wants them, they're saying, "Oh, do you know what? Actually, we'll be nice. No, I don't think we should play like that. You know, in my eyes, the foreign market is a lot better. Mohamed Kudus cost us £38 million, 23 years of age. McTominay would have cost us £40 million, if that, maybe more. He's 3 years older, nowhere near the player Kudus is. And of course, his wages would be a lot higher as well. Harry Maguire, 30 years of age, £30 million, a risk for West Ham as well. Don't forget, yes, was a good player, but he is a risk for West Ham. He comes in and he performs the way he performs with Man United the last 2 years. That's £30 million wasted. So, he's definitely a risk. We brought in Mavropanos, who arguably is one of the best centre-backs in Germany when he played. He's got very good dimensions to his game, especially going forward. He's played in the Premier League before. He'll be looking to redeem himself in the Premier League, which is what I wanted from Maguire, but he has no inkling to do that. And he costs us 10 million less, and he's like he's like 5 years younger. So in my eyes, we should be staying in the foreign markets. Yes, players like James Ward-Prowse pop up 30 million, which I think is ridiculous business. So good. And I think when that comes up, yes, you should be going for it. And do you know what? If Maguire was 20 million or was a loan to buy, I wouldn't be too opposed against it. But I do think that these deals will be revisited towards the end of the window. Maguire more so than McTominay, but I don't expect either of them to go through.